Jagannathan, Jazz in a Death Rally. Jazz in a Death Rally, Toastmaster Jagannathan. All the best to you.
One morning, I was walking through an empty road. It was calm and peaceful. I could hear my own voice. Thus, I started singing. Some rats on the side path looked lifeless, probably dead. Otherwise, they would have stopped me. How many times must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must the White House sail before she sleeps in the sand? Just as I sang, the rats woke up, packed their bags, put on their hats, took a flight, and jumped off from the airplane without the parachute. Rascal rats! Before you brush aside this story as a fairy tale, let's pause here. I was out of tune and rhythm. The rats took the correct decision of committing suicide. No doubt, I needed to improve. But that realization was only the tip of the iceberg. Irrespective of how I sang, I was happy. Walking through a silent road, singing as if no one's listening was a pleasurable moment. Why did I enjoy it? Most of the time, we humans chase happiness, but this was simple. I contemplated for days. What I found amazed me. Flashback, the year 1999. Back then, we didn't have cable. Doordarshan was more than enough. Oliyum Oliyum was my favorite show. First track from a 1965 movie. என்ற கேள்வி என்று கேட்காமல் வாழ்க்கை இல்லை நான் என்ற எண்ணம் கொண்ட மனிதன் வாழ்ந்ததில்லை. The song is about rationality, patience, hard work and freedom. Someone was crying in the kitchen. I went in. It was my father. Appa, why are you crying? You will realize with time, my son. That was one of the numerous old songs he cried for, and I had to realize a hell lot with the time. He was not forthcoming to explain them, rather he would just cry. As I grew up, these songs laid the foundation of my moral compass. Flashback 2004. Appa was a central government employee, so he traveled throughout India. One morning, there was an alien language at home. Who is singing this? Lag ja gale ge fir hasi raat ho na ho shayad fir se janam mein mulaqat ho na ho. He was crying for that too. Gomati, her name was Gomati, his school lover. I must admit I've learned more Hindi from those songs than from those exams. Later, I expanded my playlist with more love songs. As I grew up, as puberty hit, all these songs helped me in expressing adolescent emotions, although alone. Flashback 2014. It's been 6 years since life changed drastically. I'd composed my first song, which became Appa's favorite. It was about love and love at first sight. Imagine for the first time finding common grounds with your father. For the first time going beyond, you will realize at the time, my son. For the first time sharing home because he was always away. And the first song you compose becomes his favorite. And imagine amidst all this, for the first time in his life, death happens. It was a scorching afternoon. I was waiting in the counseling room of the Miyot hospitals regarding his health. I saw an anxious man beside me. A sorrow was apparent on his face. I moved my hands over his shoulder and asked about his despair. He explained that his mother had been taken into the ICU for critical care and anguished that he might lose her because it was a riskier operation. I presumed that he was a Muslim because facial hair without the mustache. I tried my best to console him. My dear friend, Don't lose hope. Allah is there. You will get through these frightening hours. 2 hours later, he came running with a huge smile. The operation was successful. Thank you, my dear friend. May I know your good name? I'm Jagan. Yours? He replied to my surprise, I'm Anthony. He replied to my surprise. There I was, a Hindu, encouraging a Christian about his mother's health, saying Allah will help us all. Of course, I didn't understand this. Then, later, on a Gandhi Jayanti, a Gujarati song opened my eyes. Vaishnava Jannato Tene Kahiye Pid Puraye Jane Re. The poet explains that a true Vaishnava praises and tolerates the entire world, helps those who are in misery, and understands the pain of others. Last year, I read a Persian poem titled Bani Adam. The poet explains that if one organ of the body is in pain, the rest of the organs suffer severe strain. If we have no empathy for human pain, the name of human we cannot retain. What I offered to Anthony was only a fraction of human potential. But these poets painted a saintly picture of what we are capable of. Appa breathed his last that year. Suddenly, all the emotions and imaginations I had vanished. How do I grieve then? I imported music from the British. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me, whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And as I let it be, I saw another death rally alongside the road. Now, death rallies in the south are exciting. Dancing, drumming, drinking, and the bluish jazz music. It's the package of thrill, sorrow, happiness, bereavement, and fulfillment. Is it not what life is? Aren't our lives identical to jazz in a death rally? My dear friends, art has helped me understand myself and the life as I know it, be it morality, love, loss, spirituality, and the world. The last 3 months have been exhausting for all of us. Loneliness might have conquered our minds. We would have desperately wanted to be loved and to belong. Would you all close your eyes for a moment? Just listen to it. Don't think this to be kiddish, just listen. If you were moved by Tagore, go to your terrace tonight. Look up and ponder upon what connects you to the world. What connects you to those stars billions of kilometers away? What gives you true happiness? Be it poetry, storytelling, acting, or writing. If it's poetry, better take a notepad and fill it with your creativity. If it's storytelling, start weaving magical stories. If it's acting, better be on the stage and not in the audience. And if it's family, better be spending more time with them than on laptops. In the race for status, money, and privilege, we often chase happiness. Well, it's not something to be chased, is it? In my understanding, the pursuit of happiness is full of art. We can understand the world better through art, for it quenches our thirst for spiritual belonging. A lonely walk with a Raja cuddling your senses is all that it takes. Dear friends, I call upon you to take that lonely walk and experience the jazz of life. will you, Madam Toastmaster? Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jagannathan,